she'll be talking to me briefly about her career and what she makes of it and why are women into this. Just briefly joining me is Tuta Mionki. Asante sana.
Thank you for having me.
So much.
Asante.
You're one of the navigator being who navigates in rallying in Kenya. What do you make of that? And your name I hear has a meaning as well. Start us off with that.
Oh, I don't know if it's true or not, but I'm told that the name Tuta means like a little mafuta kidogo, and then Mionki is the fire that just makes it explosive.
All right, and you're carrying something there?
Yeah, this is a helmet. This is one of our safety gears. It has an inner lining which is fireproof, but just in case of a crash, you want to know that you're protected. Yes.
All right, so just tell us briefly, what is the work of a navigator?
Work is, we do several things, but the main thing is to read the pace notes to the driver, basically guide him where to avoid the obstacles, where the obstacles are, so that he can commit and drive as fast as possible. We also keep time. We have time cards where we need to record the time that we've gotten per each competitive stage and ensure that the controllers are putting the right time on the time card.
It is a very costly sport looking at it. Just talk to me. You started this off in 2011 and went into it majorly in 2012. Among the women who are in this sport, started off in 2012 with around 15 and now it's down to 5 and even less.
Unfortunately, we are trying as what we call Women in Motorsport, a group that we came together in 2016 to try and see how we can get the women back. It's a bit lonely in that field with all the men. So we are trying to see how we can get sponsorship back. The cars are there. The cars are parked in people's garages, but we don't have sponsors, don't have money to continue running.
So how did you start this in 2011?
Just used to spectate, decided we can tour the country as we see the rally cars with my current driver, Eric, way back in 2007, 2008. And we thought, why can't we do this? So he got a raid car, the 4x4, and called me up and said, are you still interested? So that's how we started. Raid cars are fun because you're using GPS, you're out there in the bush, but they're a bit too slow. We felt they were a bit too slow for us. We're not getting the kind of thrill that we were looking for. So in 2012, I moved to the first VITS to ever rally in the country with Victor Okundi. A very patient man. He taught me a lot.
It's a good car.
It is a good car. No, it's a very good car. Once you get the rally specs in, you have a very nice competitive fun car. Of course, it won't compete with the Group N cars, but for a two-wheel drive car, it's a very, very good car.
All right. You went ahead and won a few levels. 2015, you also named the Navigator of the Year, in 2016 as well. How has that been?
2015, I won the Division 3 co-driver. You start from Division 3 and move up. Then in 2016, we won with Eric Bengi, the two-wheel drive category. We decided we need to try a faster car, just basically grow. And 2017, we moved to an N12 Subaru. A year that maybe, it was a learning year, so it was a bit disastrous for us. But I guess we can say we learned because in 2018, we won both the Group N and the Division 1 championships. And
it was in 2018 that you were named the Motorsport Personality of the Year. How has that been for you?
Exciting. The people around me are very excited. Still a month later, almost a month later, receiving calls and messages and have a proud family around me. So it's really been fantastic. There are a lot of people who contribute to motorsports in different ways. It's not just competitors. We have people who work behind the scenes. We have people who are on the fields making sure that once we get there, the track is taped. We have people who've brought in sponsorship, people like Sylvia King. So there's a lot of contribution to motorsport. For me to be named was a real honor.
All right. Looking at it, we are done with the Nakuru rally. We're now going to Kajiado at the river. As a navigator, what do you do? Now, how will you plan for the next leg? What is it that you do?
First, as a team, we've been trying to ensure that the car is ready. We had a bit of a damage with the engine sump in Nakuru. So as much as we've done very well in the first section, we were not able to compete after the first section. So that is ongoing. You have to be involved because you need to keep knowing where we. But we also have coming weekend a practice session. We need a lot of sit time between the driver and myself, and also the technical crew to ensure that the car is set up properly. Just keeping physically fit, mentally alert, because that's something that you really need when you're in the car. That's what I'm working on. And keeping hydrated, it's been extremely hot. So we don't wait for that weekend to really keep hydrated. It's something that you have to start early.
And you're the eye of Bengi, Eric Bengi. A miss for you, you go down.
Disastrous for the team. So I have we have to, on the day of rec, we have to do very good notes so that we don't miss anything. We do 2 rounds. On the first round, we write the notes. On the second round, I have to read them back to him so that we correct what we've missed. Sometimes once we go in, maybe the terrain has changed a little bit from the cars that I've gone through. So if we're repeating a section, we sometimes take a note of, we said keep right, but when we come back, we need to keep left. And
no much changes by the time you go to the race. But you went through Abdul Sidi Academy, perhaps.
Oh, yes.
What are the navigator skills that you try and get as somebody who wants to become a navigator?
You need to, and Abdul has been very instrumental, I believe, in training this current generation of navigators. He was a navigator himself, so the best lessons basically come from him. He's also very good at training the drivers. We have to communicate, we have to speak the same language. But the first thing to learn is what a pace note means. I cannot write keep left at the bridge like that full sentence. It's too long. So we have symbols that we use, and that's the first thing that you learn. You also need to learn what the control boards mean. Does this mean I go into the control? Does it mean I stay out?
What are some of those words?
But in the notes?
Some of the words that the cliches, if I can call them so.
A hump or a brow. If you call it a medium brow, it means you probably can't see what's ahead. So you need to be a bit cautious. Or a medium jump cannot be the same as a fast jump. A fast jump, you don't even gear down. You just take it flat out and you fly over. That's when you see the cars flying. You fly over the jump. A medium one, you might need to be a bit cautious. And then you also need to decide, do I keep left because of where you want to land? If you don't take care of those small details, you might take the jump well, but land in a ditch or in place that's not too good for the car.
All right, you're using a Subaru N12, Subaru Impreza N12. What is the difference between Subaru N12 and somebody using a Mitsubishi Evo 10, perhaps?
We have actually this year changed to an Evo 10. We felt that we'd done enough with the 12. We were as competitive as we could be, but it was not fast enough. We couldn't compete with the top guys who were using the Evo 10. So we acquired the X-Fazi Evo 10. We've tested it a bit. We had a very good experience in Nakuru with the first section where we were 4th in the first section. It sits better. It's more comfortable. It's faster out of the corners.
But then guys know Subaru to be faster than Mitsubishi.
Believe me, I love Subarus. It was my first love when it comes to even a road car. But the fact that you have that little advantage of getting out of the corners faster and the car sitting properly on the road, you don't feel the swing at the back, helps the guys who drive the Subarus just have a little bit of edge. I mean, the Evos over the Subaru guys.
A few of your competitors, among them Team Jessop, perhaps, just talk to me about your competitors in terms of the navigators, and maybe moving forward, you may want to switch seats, move to become a driver.
We have great navigators, people with a lot of experience. Some people talk of 19 years, 20 years. Last season, I finished 3rd on the navigator role. Team won, and then there was Ravi. Those are people, especially Boldy and Ravi, who basically trained us, helped us get to where we've gotten. There are people to look up to, you know, people to help guide you. Once you get in the car, unfortunately, it's just you and the driver. So off the car, we have a few people Tapio, who basically will teach me how to read the notes or how to make the notes easier for me to read so that I'm not spending too much time on one note. We have other navigators somebody like Keith, who's been involved in very many disciplines, and who was my biggest competition last season, and I must say that I beat him. So there are great people out there, some great in the car, some great as just human beings that you can interact with here.
Do you want to change seats?
I hope to start with autocross. I've been involved in the commission as the chairman.
The chairperson?
Yes. So I go to events a lot. I think there's a lot of thrill there, a lot of excitement. You don't have a navigator in autocross. So let's see how this year goes. Maybe next year, once I'm done with my term, I'll get into an autocross car.
Driving into rally and then coming off, getting into Thika Road or our Kenyan roads. How do you compare? How do you know that I should go at 30 kph and maybe, how do you get to determine? Because you're now doing rally and then you're now shifting to on the roads.
I must say I became a better road driver after I started rallying, when I realized that the cars are different. There's a car that allows you to drive in a safe environment, that you're not risking anybody else's life.
Have you ever thought of overspeeding, perhaps when you're like on some highway?
I used to time my, I hope my father is not listening. I used to time myself on the highway just to see how fast I can go when I got a Subaru road car. But then I quickly got into a rally car and realized that's not the right environment, and that's not the right car. So I keep to, unfortunately, like on your way to Kangemi, the 50 is so painful, but you basically just have to keep to the 50. On Thika Road, which is my normal, like if I'm going home, I'll get 110. So I keep it about 100. Then,
Any major accidents perhaps in rally and off rally?
Off rally, before I started, I got into, with some friends, into a head-on and fractured both arms. That was a long story and a long healing process. In rallying, we've had a few, but I can't classify any as major.
Let's talk about Kenya, going back to the WRC. Sponsorship is one vital thing that individually you have Menengai Cream as your sponsor. KCB has come back to sponsor the rally in Kenya as well. How does that build up to the WRC?
As a competitor, I watched it as a young child, so you can imagine the excitement that's building just at the thought of being a competitor now. KCB, of course, when coming back to the KMSF this year, is something that we're all excited about. We see the cost of competing coming down. Our sponsors, Menengai, have been great with us when we had good times, and when we were not doing very well, they stood by us. We are looking at I know the government is sponsoring the WRC project, but also KCB is pumping in a lot of money. So we are very excited about July for the candidate event and 2020 for the potential WRC event. All
right, away from that, we have of Formula One. What car are you?
Oh my God, this is a tricky one. I was Ferrari for the longest time, but the Silver Arrows, I cannot help myself. I just love Lewis Hamilton and the Mercedes. It's been exciting the last few years.
Who do you tip to win this season?
I know people are going with Max, but he's not going to win.
So Lewis is getting get it back.
He's getting it back.
You're also a football fan, Manchester United?
Manchester United.
What do you make of the recent resurgence?
You know, the thing I can say, like for Sean and his Arsenal fans, you know, those guys, we are not like Arsenal. So we've had a downtime, and since Sir Ferguson left, but we're excited about what's going on with Ole Social. So,
a bright future for you, perhaps?
For Manchester?
You individually as a navigator?
Yes, I'm looking forward to hopefully winning the national championship, taking part in the Africa Rally Championship. Those are things I pray to God that I get to do one day.
All right, thank you so much. I can only wish you all the best.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for joining us here. Perhaps we'll call you again during the year in one of these rally events.
Anytime, yes.